What is going on, Lucid fans? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to talk about a little bit more so next week. Some events, some catalysts, things you need to know, go over some price predictions as well. So I'm going to do a little bit more technical analysis at the end. In addition to, I will go over some highlights and a recap on Friday as far as some updated data points. Again, very relevant to a lot of investors. But before I get into any of that, I'll ask, smash a thumbs up, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Greatly appreciate that. One final thing I do want to bring to your attention, there is a new broker massive promo just for March. If you click on the link below, sign up, you get one free stock valued up to $3,500. Just deposit $1, you get another free stock valued up to $3,500. And here's a promo, you get one share of NEO. I know it's not necessarily Lucid, but still, it is what it is, basically free money. So take advantage of that promo link in the description below. With that said, let's get right to it. So looking at this chart is very scary, considering we have been down roughly about 60% give or take from our all-time highs. And when it comes down to it, there is a lot of bears out in the market, because I do anticipate going into next week a lot of people and individuals questioning their investment with Lucid. And I know that does suck to hear, but if you kind of take a step back and realize that no matter what, there still is a lot of investors that did get in around this time period that are still holding, but unfortunately they are losing patience. And I have been seeing that in a lot of stock forums and also my comment section on a lot of my videos. A lot of people are losing patience when it comes down to Lucid. Right now, there is no known catalyst. That's one of the biggest things I think that's killing a lot of investors, is that we are at the mercy of the market. So I do anticipate that may come into effect, but I do hope that the video that did come out that Peter was in that talked about battery packs, I like that. I personally find that as a very good catalyst, and it did say only episode 1. Hopefully there's a huge continuation, hopefully every week. That would be ideal, because this is very good to kind of keep the typical day-to-day investor of Lucid kind of still ingrained and still wanting them to know exactly why they are buying Lucid and what sets them apart and above other EV companies. So I really do like that, and I hope they do continue that. As far as a catalyst about bringing in new investors, I don't know necessarily if someone viewing this would incentivize them to buy Lucid, but especially those investors that are already technically in it, does solidify and verify exactly things that we need to hear. In addition to that, there is some things coming out next week. More so, I do believe the 1.1.91 is going to hit the broader market. I do believe it was just a select few that did get this, but more updates to the Dream Drive, and I really do like that Dream Drive. I'm a very big fan of, and looking here as well, it just shows this very dirty screen on FYI. Still, it goes to show that Lucid again has its good technology, and which sets it apart from the rest. So I really do like that, and in case you have any questions, there's a lot of articles about the Dream Drive, its cost, and what it basically entails. So I really like that. So in reality, I do anticipate those being some circumstances that's going to be brought up. As far as right now, like I've already mentioned, there is no known catalyst for Lucid coming out. So as far as events going into next week, I do strongly feel it's going to be two separate things that are driving and kind of influencing Lucid. More specifically, and one of which is going to be the technicals. Technicals, in my opinion, especially when there is no known catalyst, a lot of people focus on technicals. So this will play a big part in where Lucid actually goes. So I'm going to do that at the end. And then there is this. We all know March the 16th is going to be a very volatile day, especially leading up to that. It is going to be the Fed decision rate on interest rates. Right now you can see that they're forecast at 0.5%. That in reality, I personally feel at least, is already factored into a lot of growth stocks. But what is actually happening in the market is just more and more escalated fear. Because in case you do not know, CPI data did come out a couple days back, which shows ultimately inflation. Inflation technically on a year-by-year basis is what primarily a lot of people look at. But I do strongly feel that with Russia, and especially more so oil prices and other commodities going up as much as they are, people are going to start rolling over and looking more at the month-over-month. And so when it comes down to it, I do strongly feel this is going to be a negative thing. And right now I do strongly feel that this 0.5 point increase is already factored into the price, but tentatively they're wanting 2% by the end of the year by 2022, and whether companies can actually survive. And I've been saying on a lot of live streams and videos that over the next 6 months, you are going to see a very big divide among even growth stocks. Those that have debt that won't be able to survive, that's going to struggle and possibly dilute, and others that won't. I personally feel Lucid is on the latter and won't need to dilute or do anything. They'll be able to fully survive in a higher rate environment, but regardless, there is a lot of fear when it comes down to this, and I do strongly feel a lot of people are going to be talking on as far as what their next steps are going to be. So this is going to be, like I said, going to be a lot of volatility up until this date. So as far as where it can go, I'm going to give you my prediction, but before I give that, I'm just going to go over some technicals that happened on Friday, more so as far as updates on the shorts activity. So 1788, pretty stagnant from 1 week prior. Utilization still 100%. One good key takeaway from Friday is shorts did close out 2.35% of overall their position, which works out to be 5.42 million shares being returned. Cost to borrow is starting to go back down. It did reach a high, I believe, a couple days back of 55, but is at 22.9. But still, that is still relatively expensive for shorts to maintain their position. So overall, in my opinion at least, this is a very bullish sign. The fact that shorts are closing out some of their positions, especially leading up to this date. Whether they're just trying to manipulate it, I'm not really sure. On a different level, it is what it is. Let me know in the comments below what you do feel about that. In addition to that, some options activity for Friday. So you can see 9 orders totaling $2.76 million worth for money entering into for options, only 37% positive. So again, that's not really necessarily the best. In the morning, it was fairly positive. Clearly at the tail end of the day, there was a lot of puts being placed. So clearly we are getting mixed signals on Lucid. Nobody ultimately knows where Lucid is going. As myself, I'm just giving you a prediction at the end of the video. But when it comes down to options activity, that is a little bit more bearish. And shorts overall, in my opinion, is a little bit more of a bullish signal. So again, this is where I like to lay everything out for you guys. You guys do your own due diligence. Piece what you like. If you personally feel that there is no value in looking at options, then disregard what I say. Again, I bring up short information not necessarily because I feel it's going to be a short squeeze at all, even though things are kind of lining up that it could. But again, when it comes down to it, I'm bringing this up because shorts are necessarily the people that are contrary to what we believe in. So they clearly think Lucid is going to go down, enough so that they're actually willing to pay the cost to borrow of 22.9%. So again, take it how you see that. I personally like watching shorts and seeing what they're doing. So the fact that they closed 2.35% on Friday is a big deal in my opinion. But most likely leading into next week, this is going to be all over the place. Shorts necessarily won't know what to do. They're going to try their very best to manipulate Lucid as much as they can, especially like I said, there is going to be a lot of fear leading up to this date. So this is a big date to watch for. So just keep that in mind. In addition to, like I already mentioned, next week is going to be really derived by technicals. So looking on the actual chart at the 5100, 200-day moving averages, Bollinger Bands, RSI, stochastic, and momentum. So just going to zoom in a little bit. So looking at momentum, you can see number of buyers have been going up. So that's a very positive sign. So regardless of us going down as much as we have been, we've been maintaining ourselves. So I really do like that. A number of buyers, aka means retail investors. And you can always piece everything together. So equivalently, you can always look to see how much volume was done per day versus on the average, and take that and kind of factor in the momentum. So number of buyers increasing, our average volume has been down. So ultimately shows that the number of institutions is going down. They're not really buying as much Lucid as they have been, versus momentum shows number of retail investors. Hopefully I didn't confuse a lot of you. That's just how my brain works. I like to piece together things and kind of read between the lines in a lot of these signals. But right now, number of buyers is definitely good. So shows the retail presence is going up. Stochastic, there is a little bit of a deviation. So red line above the black showing in reality a little bit more of a bearish signal. RSI is currently at 39, and looking on the actual chart, we are still lower percent of the Bollinger Band, had a lot of good resistance, and just want to show you this. So right now, technically we are at $22.92, so we are in between the S2 and the S1, which in reality is still fairly good, considering a lot of other growth stocks are between the S3 and the S2. So most likely, like I said, there's going to be a lot of volatility. I personally do feel, and we have yet to actually break past the S2, I think that is going to maintain and hold this position. I think that is going to be the bottom. So mid 21s may be actually obtained from now up until Wednesday. In addition to, I do strongly feel as far as that being the bottom, I think that the top, I don't think S1 will hold. I think that will actually break past that. Like I've been saying, it's going to be a very volatile week. There's going to be a lot of opposite pressures. There's a lot of Russia tensions, inflation tensions, but there is a lot of value when it comes down to Lucid. And again, looking at the momentum indicator, number of buyers, clearly a lot of retail investors are seeing a lot of value in this, whether it be because of Peter and the video and just bringing more light to Lucid. definitely, if that is the case, do more videos, Peter. I highly suggest in doing that. And clearly something is working in the market to actually incentivize people to jump back in or start new positions with Lucid. But like I said, that's where I see things as range bound between the 21 and 25. Again, there's a lot of different ways that this can go. One positive thing as well to watch for next week is going back to this. So the Fed decision rate. So like I already said, the estimate is around 0.5%. For argument's sake, let's say they pull a rabbit out of the hat and it is only 0.25%. Then that is a game changer. That means tentatively we are going to have a massive rebound. And when I say massive rebound, most likely we'll be having another 10% green day because of that. So that's something as well. Could be a possibility. Likelihood is not really there, but again, it could be there. Especially considering this is why, in my opinion, shorts are closing out some of the positions just in case of that rabbit coming from that hat. So take that how you see that, but still at the end of the day, and every video I always mention, long-term investors. Long-term investors are going to make the most and won't necessarily care about all this short-term noise. I know some people do. This is why only I'm bringing this up. So that's where my prediction is for next week. So between the 21 and 25 range, I know that's kind of vague, but there is a lot of different things that could happen. And even if tentatively Russia does escalate the whole situation or the war, then that could cause a little bit more downward pressure. Again, I don't see us getting below that 21.59 range, the S2. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. Let me know your thoughts on Lucid in the comments below. If you haven't already, smash a thumbs up and subscribe. I greatly appreciate that. If you do like my channel and my ranting, don't forget to support it by hitting the membership button, join button, whatever you want to do. I greatly appreciate that. But with all that said, I appreciate you guys watching, and let's all make a lot of money on Lucid.